Hey. Time for another out of this world story from our space. She's pregnant. She's having the baby. I will be in the child's life, and there's nothing you can do about it. Posting this on behalf of a friend. She's not on here, but I told her you guys give good advice. My friend is 9 months pregnant. She's due any day now. Recently, her partner of 6 years has been doing business with a new client. I'm often with my friend, and I noticed this woman at my friend's baby shower. Her partner said he was her business partner, and they were working together. This work led them to work trips to different places, and he usually does do client work and meetings, etc. Anyway, we observed this lady was just always around. She'd be at the house sometimes for dinner. She was just always there. His new business partner? I remember once he even gave my friend a ride home, and the girl was with him, and he dropped my friend off, and they left together after it was 8 p.m. for a work dinner. I felt something was off, but my friend is pregnant and already stressed, so I didn't say anything. The woman in question is incredibly attractive. This stuck out. When we met her, we were saying how stunning she was, and they just seemed too familiar with each other. She even slept over at his house once. They built this other social life where they travel and go out together while my friend was at home, claiming it was work-related. We bumped into her once, and she was at lunch with my friend's partner, and they got up and said, "Hi," and had this elaborate speech about how amazing work is and how well they're doing, etc., and how much business they'd done at their latest trip. Anyway, on pre-occasions, he didn't sleep at home and didn't show up until the next day. My friend freaked out, but he claimed he had overslept at a work party. Anyway, it all went down last night. My friend, I guess on instinct, hacked into her partner's iCloud, and crap went down. This woman was not his coworker. She was his mistress. She's also pregnant too. She's 3 months. They speak every day. He talks to her every day. He asked her not to get an abortion. So it's not his business partner. She's a medical school student. She was messaging him how to hide her body when she owed back to school in September. My friend found nudes, texts going back a long time. Everything. Baby's first scan. Messages about how he will split life between the women. Him being happy when she had a positive test. The girl went to rent a frickin' house near her medical school to do her best. The girl, per the messages, was saying she was scared. She wanted her mom. She wants to finish medical school. He told her he will step up and he will make it work and he will be there for her. He also began making arrangements with her to get a new car so he can drive to where her medical school is often. There was also a message from her partner's friend of 2 years saying, "Congrats on the new pregnancy. You guys are a perfect couple." Apparently, this friend didn't even know he was still with my friend. They had been going out and living life, apparently. He messaged the girl saying, "Don't tell anyone yet. I want to tell her first after the baby is born." She knows this girl and has her number and proceeded to text the girl, calling her homewrecker and she'll always be number one, and go and abort the baby. Her baby has no dad, etc. Bad move. She basically texted her telling her to abort the kid. She called me to come over. I did. Anyway, the girl calls the partner at some point because he walks downstairs and tells her, "She's pregnant. She's having a baby. I will be in the child's life and there's nothing you can do about it. It's done. Do not ever contact her again. Do not ever speak to her again. What's done is done. Do not ever contact her or any of her friends." He then told her he will make things right. He loves her, etc. My friend is 9 months pregnant with nowhere to go. She's hormonal and scared. His iCloud was still hooked to her computer, and when he went back upstairs crying, we could see that immediately messages the girl saying, "I've sorted it out. I've told her there's nothing she can do. I've told her I'll be in the child's life. I'm sorry. It's all going to be okay. I'm sorry this happened, but don't worry anymore, okay?" The girl was sending crying emojis, saying she will be okay and she doesn't want to hurt anyone, blah, 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 and he responds, "It's okay. Don't worry. I've sorted it out. She can't do anything to you anymore." He literally sent that as soon as he walked away crying. I have watched this situation for the last 24 hours, and I am here. The partner genuinely thinks this can work, and she has to accept it. How should she proceed? The first question comes from Queen Aurelia. Are they married? She needs to start the divorce process ASAP. If so, and file for child support as soon as the baby is born. There is no working this out. Response: nope, not married. She wants to make things work. Is there hope? Queen really responds again. I know how she feels. She wants to win. She wants him to want her. Being left for another person is the worst feeling in the world. But what is she fighting for? A man that lies, cheats, hurts the woman he supposedly loves, impregnated 2 women at the same time. This man is not worth fighting for. The OP responds, I am trying to make her see this is not realistic. How can she win anything when now her husband wants to go back and forth for his custody arrangement with this woman? He has been pretty firm that he will not change. So, my friend is destroyed. This woman was acting like her friend because we now know in order for them to be together, they had to basically find a way to exist around her and then involve them being around us constantly. D-Save says, yeah, not so much on the partner's part. He has told her that he is not going to stop seeing his affair partner. So your friend needs to decide if she likes poly lifestyles or not. I suggest dumping him and getting a child support order entered immediately after birth, so she is first in line for enforcement. The OP says, he has said he will be in his child's life, and there's nothing she can do about that. Her fighting for the relationship is her hoping he only sees the child and not the affair partner. She went crazy on the affair partner, saying she'll never have her man, etc., and the affair partner should go away and abort. So I think she's hoping that her partner will co-parent with the affair partner and they can fight for the relationship. Her partner did not even seem remotely fazed. It's clear he is very calm with this. Enough of that wild ride. On to the next wild ride. I suspect my wife of an emotional affair. A bit of background first. My wife took a new job a few years ago. It's a really long commute, so we decided to sell her home and relocate near her work. To make the transition easy, we got a rental house before listing our home for sale. We got the rental in December and listed our property in March. We closed on the sale of her home today. Initially, my wife was going to stay at the rental occasionally. Her work, she's a police officer, requires really long hours and non-9-to-5 schedules. Before long, she was basically living there. She works 6 days on, followed by 3 days off. By late February, I was lucky as she came home for 2 nights during her days off. Honestly, our relationship from this alone was on shaky ground. Naturally, most of her coworkers are men. Well, one of these men has become a good friend. In March, we both took a little time off work to prepare our home for sale. She had some errands to run one day, so she left. After about 3 hours, I was starting to get curious. She shouldn't have been more than an hour. We share our locations with each other, and I saw she was parked in what is a vacant lot. It was curious. She finally came home. On a whim later that day, I looked at the cell phone usage. She was on the phone with this guy for over 2 hours. Now I saw a red flag, and I confronted her. She brushed it off, saying they were all working and they were just talking shop. Okay. Next day, she leaves to return to the rental before starting her next shift. Against my better judgment, I look and see another hour-long phone call on her drive. Now I'm getting suspicious. She's basically living somewhere else and having long conversations with another guy. So at the next opportunity, I check her Snapchat. They are BFFs for over 2 months. That means they both send more things to each other than anyone else. It's Snapchat, so you can't really see much else. I'm shocked. Of course, I can't stay quiet, so I confront her. She says there is nothing to worry about. Okay, I'll try to wrap up. Since then, I checked the phone bill. Nearly 18 hours on the phone with this dude in 2 months. She sees him at work every day and me once a week. I look at Snapchat once again, same situation. But there are saved photos. Nothing scandalous. Pictures of him on his boat, and one picture of her with her hair down and across her shoulder. Again, not terrible, but it's an attractive photo. It's definitely not appropriate. I also know that he has been at the rental as late as 1:30 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. I'm not positive they were alone though. Other folks may have been there. I confronted her about all of this. I still get the "just friends, nothing happened" response, along with the guilt trip for me going ballistic. As if I am in the wrong. She also says she has not discussed our marriage with him. Now, the house is sold. I've moved in with a friend. I told her she either needs to be fully transparent with me about this dude or cut ties. If not, then it's pretty simple. So I guess my questions are this. I'm not crazy, right? This is completely unacceptable level of communication. I also contend that even if she isn't interested, there is zero chance he's not interested. No dude puts that many miles on the phone or in Snapchat without an attraction, right? So what do I do? Let's see what kind of advice and opinions the community offers. Slip Outside says, if he was there at those times and she leaves you to talk to him for hours, they're probably doing what you assume. Even if not, prepare for her to tell you to shove your ultimatum and pick the other guy. Just guard yourself. You felt that way for a reason, and your suspicion led to more questions, which she didn't fully answer. Doesn't look good either way. D. Save says, emotional affairs become physical at first opportunity. I strongly suggest that this has advanced beyond an emotional affair. You may wish to gather more evidence, but it will soon be time to throw a bucket of cold water over your wayward spouse. Acceptable Nightmare has some relevant words of wisdom. I'm a 10-year cop. Yes, we work weird hours. Yes, we get PTSD. Yes, we bond with our partners, squad, in unique ways. I've had men and women squad mates, and healthy professional relationships in the police world aren't much different than in any other workplace. We don't spend hours on the phone with each other. We don't disappear for hours or days on end. We don't neglect family relationships for the sake of a friend. The opposite, actually. Effective stress management requires proactive investment in healthy relationships. She's trying to gaslight you. Don't just trust your gut, trust the evidence. Follow the evidence and let it inform your conclusion. She's cheating. Our next comment comes from someone I can't even try to pronounce. Do this little comparison to help you decide. You see the phone times, right? How does the time she spends talking to him compare to the time she spends talking to you? That's going to give you the answer. With that data alone, you probably have justification for confronting her on at least an emotional affair. And there's probably a physical affair. If she's spending twice as much time on the phone with her BFF as she does with you have your answer already. First, consult a lawyer to find your options. You can go with what you have if it's a no-fault state. That means you can blindly serve her, or you can confront her with a talk time and say, who are you married to? And if she is indignant or surprised, have her served. If it's necessary to have a physical affair to save your financial ass, then you probably want to get a PI to collect said evidence, because she is not going to confess. If you go the PI route, you can then either blind serve her or confront, then serve. Crappy situation. The way you describe it, she's in limerence. And if given a choice, you will lose. I'm willing to bet they've gone to a physical affair too. So get yourself tested for STIs too. Your lawyer will help you plot a strategy for this. Even if you file, you can stop the process, even up to the last minute. Please keep us updated.